John, thanks for being here today. Tell me who you are and who you're affiliated with.
Okay, my name is John Dineen. Our company name is Pubble. Pubble is a distributed Q&A platform that can be added to any website in a matter of minutes.
Great. Tell me about how that's going to be used on any website.
Okay, so the big idea here is that we've noticed, right, particularly because our previous startup was a startup called LearnPipe, which was a vertical search engine for education. We spent an awful lot of time looking at university websites. And across, like from the biggest, most famous universities in the world, right down to the local technical colleges at home, they all made the same mistake. Universities have, I suppose, a unique opportunity to build community because people are much more engaged with their university than they are with, their brand of soap powder or deodorant, whatever it is. But the universities that we look at, we see them not taking full advantage of their opportunity to build the community right back on their site. So you see universities making what we think are mistakes in that they're pushing everybody into Facebook, and what we actually think they should be doing is driving that engagement on the site. So their site has a community layer that enables people to engage and live right on top of the college website.
Wow. Have you implemented this product anywhere yet?
Yeah, we've been very successful in Europe. We're live on just over 100 sites, about 80 of which are in the education sector, universities and what we call technical colleges at home. And the feedback has been absolutely amazing. We're seeing, particularly for course pages, essentially what you've got on a university, say for us, it doesn't really make sense to follow a very large university on Twitter because the university is like a big town. Mm-hmm. What we are interested in following is maybe like the computer science page or a biodiversity page or whatever course that we're interested in doing. So essentially what Pubble is doing for those universities is creating micro communities that live on each page. So rather than following the big college, you follow the course that you're interested in, and every time a question is answered, an update is posted, some feedback is given. If I'm really interested in that course, I can subscribe to those updates and you get a much better feel for what this course is about before you actually choose it.
That's fabulous. You said your prior startup, so you're a serial entrepreneur.
This is our third company. I suppose the first company that we set up was a training company, just an IT technical and project management training company. Then as we kind of looked at the market there, we thought that the way people actually advertise and promote training courses, there was a big gap in the market, because if you look at the training market, about 90% of all scheduled events are actually cancelled. So training companies look huge, but actually when you drill right down, very few of their events that they advertise publicly actually run. So we thought that the big kind of problem there was that they didn't really have a good channel to promote those courses to prospective clients. So that's what LearnPipe was about. It was about giving them a channel to, I suppose, better, efficiently target people who are interested in niche courses. Obviously you can't take out, a huge advertisement in the Austin Morning Herald or whatever the paper's called here, advertising an Ajax course that maybe 1,000 people in Austin would be even remotely interested in.
Right.
So LearnPipe was very successful in Ireland and the UK. We built it up to about 1 million unique visitors a month. It was by far and away the busiest education site in Ireland. Still going very strong, but I suppose the kind of downfall or the pitfall that we saw with that business model is that it was primarily an SEO driven business model. So Google was really controlling whether we could ever really make a success of the business, and that was something that ultimately we weren't very comfortable with.
But tell me, as a serial entrepreneur, it seems to be like entrepreneurship is in your DNA. You have to do another business. Or is it because you just see more problems you want to solve?
It's a little bit of both. My father was an entrepreneur, so I think it definitely comes through the genes. I'm not, sometimes, particularly when things get hard, you're saying, geez, why don't I get a job in EMC or Apple or something like that? Because all of those companies are in our hometown back in Ireland. But it feels like for me anyway, it just feels as if your kind of route in life is to create a successful enterprise. And luckily, we've been doing it now. We're into nearly our 10th year of paying our own bills, so we're getting there,
That's fabulous. That's absolutely fabulous. Tell me, give me some observations that you may have for doing business, being an entrepreneur in Ireland, and perhaps some of the things you've observed or experienced with one or more of your businesses here in North America. Is there any clear, distinct differences or similarities?
I think like Irish people and Americans, I think we broadly have got very similar outlooks. Obviously, when you come to the States, the big thing for us is scale. Like the scale of what, you know, the opportunities in the States. Just even like things that you take for granted, like the scale of the road infrastructure here, the volume of traffic outside our hotel is nuts.
Well, we would agree with you there.
Yeah, but you're so, like, you see, Ireland is a population of like just over 4 million people. It's a very, very small market. So the kind of, I suppose, the challenge for us is to not let that frame the way you look at opportunities. And that's, like, for us, I would see as the biggest difference between, say, companies that would come out of Austin or San Francisco. They, like, it's basically ingrained in them that they're trying to take over the world because they've been exposed to such scale. Whereas in Ireland, we kind of tend to focus on creating enterprises that, you know, get the profitability very quickly, and maybe focus on niche markets, and like, so we got to guard against that. So, like, for us as entrepreneurs, it is fantastic to embed ourselves in your ecosystem and just, you know, take out, you know, learn from the way you guys would look at things, you know. So,
as you get embedded in the ecosystem here, have you managed to make some good connections here at South by?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's like, this was our first experience with South by, and I was just in the kind of a party last night there, and just happened to be having a beer. And next day I ended up chatting with, do you know a guy, Loic Lemire? He's the founder of the Web. And it's just like, you know, like, coming to South by and getting the opportunity to meet people like that is just, for us, it's just awesome, you know.
And for us, getting to meet people like you, it's just awesome as well.
Thanks very much.
So tell us, where is your business going in the next year?
Okay, we're already profitable. As I said there, we're live on just over 100 paying customers, paying us between $19 and $2,000 a month. We just had a really good pitching session there where a New York-based VC was saying maybe we should change tax, so we're going to look at that in terms of not immediately charging people and trying to focus on the scale. So that was kind of why I decided to focus on that point a second ago. But like, we can choose, I suppose, two routes. We can focus on continuing with profitability and maybe grow at a slower rate, or reduce the short-term profitability and try and scale in terms of user growth. And that's the decision that we need to choose over the next couple of months.
One of our previous speakers and a researcher at the University of Texas is working on the concept of intentional markets, the whole issue of scaling community. So we need to get you connected with that person.
Very good, I'd love to talk to him.
But tell us, if there was one thing you and your business would really love to achieve this year, or would need some help with, what would that be?
Well, like, funding is obviously the most obvious answer there, but I think in terms of like, what we're really interested in at this juncture is use cases for technology. As I said there, we started with the education market just because we came from an education background, and we're actually getting amazing feedback there. But any websites that are looking to deploy, you know, a really smart Q&A platform, if they'd reach out to us, we would welcome the opportunity to, I suppose, deploy our technology on their sites and work with them to make sure that it's a big hit for them.
Absolutely. Great platform, great company. John, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.